Welcome back to the Massive Nerdmigos original podcast. My name is Doragon, I'm going to be your host for today. I will be joined by all three of my co-hosts, Happy Ninja Rob, Massively Gaming, and the mighty Wibblesniff. Due to prior commitments and timing, work, and everything, we've been away for a couple of months now. I do apologise for that. A big part of that was my fault. I lost my voice, and I was unable to record, and the guys didn't want to go ahead without me fronting and hosting the show for you. So I need to offer a huge thank you to the rest of my team, the rest of my co-hosts. They've been absolutely amazing during my recovery, and thank you to you guys, the viewers, for sticking around with us during that period. So we owe you a lot. In today's episode, we're going to be covering three topics. We are looking at the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal, especially now that the CMA have changed their tune a little bit. We're going to be looking at Rob's trials and tribulations with internet service providers, and then Wibble will be joining us to go over, in a massive segment, the new Luke DC universe.
No, sorry.
Oh my god.
Okay, right. Starting us off today, breaking news last night that the UK CMA has provisionally concluded that Microsoft's Activision Blizzard deal will not result in a substantial lessening of competition in console gaming services because Microsoft is unlikely to withhold Call of Duty from PlayStation. Is Call of Duty that big of a deal still nowadays? Do people still play Call of Duty that much that it's that big of a deal?
It's most of Activision Blizzard's financial turnover. It's what kept their share price so high that Microsoft got this, what is it, $68 billion figure. It's because of what Call of Duty is worth more than anything else. That's where the figure came from. So yeah, Call of Duty's huge, and it's not just a case of the annual releases. It's the microtransactions within it. It's the Warzone. It's the streaming presence. It's a huge thing for Activision Blizzard, and it would therefore hopefully be a huge thing for Microsoft, or that's what they're hoping.
Yeah, I reckon.
But we've seen Microsoft take existing amazing franchises previously and mismanage them into complete insignificance. So I don't... It's only addressing one point of the CMA's problems, so it's moving closer to being sorted, but their big one is that Xbox have got such a huge lead in cloud gaming that giving them Call of Duty on their cloud services, and inclusive of Game Pass, which is so much bigger than every other option out there, is going to give them such a market lead that no one can compete. And yeah, okay, it's not going to change the console market, as the news article says, but it then drastically changes the cloud and subscription services. So I don't know, it still feels like, especially from what the CMA have published in the last 3 to 4 weeks, that it's not addressing their core concerns, but it's one concern overcome, which for Microsoft and Activision Blizzard is a step in the right direction.
Is cloud really that big?
I'd argue
gaming thing. Like really, like the 5 people that use cloud gaming
markets,
like, you know what I mean? Like they'll have such a big market share. So of the 10 people that use cloud gaming, now 7 of them are going to be using Microsoft services. It's really not that much of a deal, really. I feel at the end of the day, surely the technology exists for Sony and I don't want to say Nintendo because Nintendo aren't competing here, but like other gaming companies to branch into the cloud if they want to. It's not Microsoft's issue that they were the ones that just did it. You know what I mean? That have a good structure for clouds and everything.
Sony have got it. Yeah, Sony have got it. Sony have got the cloud, and in my experience, anyhow, I know you've had a drastically different experience, Lee, but in my experience, Sony's cloud works better than any of the others.
I think any of the clouds work, bro.
Microsoft.
They all suck.
The only one that did was Google Stadia, and that was because it was designed to work on high latency, low bandwidth networks. But that's gone, so the rest of them are just screwed and not really working as anybody wants them to. There's no parity. So we're in the same city in the UK. UK cities aren't massive, and the three of us are having drastically different experiences with any sort of cloud gaming. But what the CMA are saying is it's obviously a big part of the future of the gaming industry, just like it became such a big part of the future of the AV video industry. Like Netflix changed Hollywood. When Netflix started, there were 150 syndicated, scripted dramas coming out of the US every year. And they had to be quality to get onto the networks and such. They couldn't be just anything. But because Netflix came out and took viewers away from those syndicated shows, made their own, and everybody wanted a piece of that pie, in 2022, 550 scripted syndicated dramas came out of the US. And it's everybody trying to get in on it, and it's diluting the quality. Is why we spend so long trawling through the likes of Netflix, through the likes of Disney Plus to try and find something. But that industry and that one service changed the shape of the video and movie industry. It changed Hollywood completely.
Yeah.
And the CMA's concern is that xCloud, which is the cloud gaming service of Xbox, will have that same effect. And they've got such a market lead already. There's roughly 20 million cloud players worldwide. 20 million cloud players have played xCloud. So it's a massive market lead over anybody else. And you've got to have competition in markets. Otherwise, it becomes stagnant. And for the likes of you and I, they can charge whatever they want because they're the only ones doing it and doing it well. So I understand their concerns, but yeah, xCloud's terrible anyway. So they can have the market lead in shite.
Yeah. I'd argue that at the minute it's like a massive afterthought for everyone. And they're the only ones that they might have the massive market share, but that's because no one else cares. I feel like that's the soul of it. I mean, Stadia was one of the only platforms that it was kind of built from the ground up. Like, this is what we're going to do. It's not console based. It's all cloud based and that sort of thing. And, you know, that was them. And maybe that's why it did work well. It was designed for it. Whereas I feel like for the likes of Microsoft and for Sony with their cloud streaming, it's kind of like, well, we're Microsoft, we've got massive cloud stuff, we already do all this stuff. Do we just put some virtual Xboxes on it? Yeah, why not? Here you go. There you go. Off you go. And then Sony are kind of like, well, we can build it into our tiered model. Might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Like you say, they've got the cloud infrastructure.
Yeah.
Amazon have just launched theirs over here in the UK. It works terribly from what I've experienced. And the game catalog, the newest game is 3 years old.
Oh, good.
Like,
yeah.
You can't compete if you don't have the games.
Current, relevant,
But then Microsoft are signing deals with all of the other ones as well. So you've got Nvidia's GeForce now. So Microsoft have signed a deal with them to bring all Xbox PC games to GeForce now. They've signed a deal with Boosteroid, a Ukrainian company, the biggest independent cloud gaming service, to bring all their Xbox PC games to that. They've done the same with, and I think they're Asian-based, called Ubitus or something like that. They signed the same deal with them, and it's basically the same deal they've signed with Nintendo as well to bring Activision Blizzard parity games onto the Switch. That one's questionable. I don't know how they're going to achieve, say, Call of Duty Warzone on the Switch.
Just explodes.
Yeah.
Where are we dropping, boys?
Actually blowing up.
Just keeps fucking exploding, yeah. Jesus Christ.
I think we
like everybody's saying, oh yeah, they can just go cloud with it. But what about those areas that don't have cloud?
I love
how are you getting Warzone on a Switch in Africa?
I love all that kind of like, we can just cloud it as if like the infrastructure is, it's just like universally everyone will be able to do that. Yeah, sure, that'll work. We've just, I mean, no problems at all. I'm sat in a house that's got full fiber connection, and I've just had to disconnect from here because I'm sat in a corner of my bedroom where it's like, don't feel like it today. How, do you know what I mean? And then they're just like, yeah, so you can just cloud it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, mine's about 30 centimeters that way.
That'll be it. It'll be the entire GIMP cage acting as a Faraday cage. That'll be why. But
that'll be it. Yeah.
But how? I mean, if I can't even, oh Jesus, if I can't even log into into this stream and that work consistently every time, how would anyone get cloud gaming to work in, not ideal circumstances? I don't get it.
Magic.
Unless you're Ethernetted in.
Yeah.
you can't. And I don't own a Switch dock that's got the Ethernet port on it. I'd have to buy additional. I can't be bothered
But
with
again,
that.
does
I'm
that
sorry,
not just
no.
does that not just defeat the point? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
I want to have something
100%
that's
defeats the point.
I want to have something that's plugged into my Ethernet so I can cloud game like really, really well. Okay, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Just play
You
on the
may as well
system.
just build a PC or buy
Yeah.
a console at that point.
Cool.
Yeah,
Plug in-
exactly. 100%.
Plug in your Xbox sound. Yeah, you're paying a subscription for Xbox where you get cloud gaming. Pay 20. Fucking this light, man.
What the fuck are
Told
you
you.
doing? Are you okay? Do you need?
What is
do you need a
going
moment,
on,
Rob?
Rob?
This light is,
Do you need a
is
moment?
not playing
We can
games.
chill for like a hot second if you need to sort your life
Yeah.
out.
Life, light, all of it. Hang on. Right.
The light is the new presenter. Rob has
Stay.
been replaced.
Trying to take Wibb's job, isn't he?
It feels like it's definitely got the light's really, really passionate about this and it wants in on the action. It's
The light's
It
like, I
wants
really
it.
like cloud
Yeah.
gaming though. It's
yeah, it's like you're wrong.
I want to play it on me.
Cloud gaming's the future.
the only thing I
X
actually
cloud
cloud
forever.
game on is my Steam Deck because you can't
Yeah.
download Game Pass games onto your Steam Deck, which is bullshit. But whatever. So the only thing, and the only time it semi works is if I'm sitting directly next to the router. You go anywhere away from the router, you're screwed. And it's just like
That's convenient.
And that's on Steam Deck. That's like one of the best things for it.
and I was just like,
I do most of it on this, on a phone. So it's like, if you're struggling, how the hell am I going to work?
I honestly, I was playing a game. I think I was playing Fallout 4 on Game Pass, streamed onto my Steam Deck, and it was that annoying. I just went and bought it on Steam for 10 quid and just downloaded it because I was like, you know what, I can't be arsed. I can't be arsed. You know, I'm just going to download the damn game and play it as it's supposed to be played, and it works much better.
Yeah, and I can. It's one of those. It's a great argument from the CMA for the future, but we are talking like 10, 12 years in the future before it starts to be usable. Like, well, maybe, yeah. Like the whole world will be a bit too warm. Everybody will be cooped in their bathtubs with toasters. And...
Hey, that's how I want to go.
Oh yeah,
that's a Friday night. That one. So yeah, I get what the CMA is saying, but at the same time, it's like that's not now.
Yeah,
that's not how things are. And if it's not affecting the console market as is, then surely it's time to sign on the dotted line, because I don't know about you guys, but I am tired of waiting for new games.
Oh yeah.
You know, Microsoft and Sony are both holding big new announcements back because they want to win this whole debate, debacle, whatever you want to call it. And they're not going to announce something that shows their position is stronger in the market whilst they're in this legal battle. And I just want it over and done with, because one game that I'm looking forward to for the rest of the year isn't enough. I want more than a single game to play through 2023.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is where it's not. This is where the argument is, like, aren't these legal battles supposed to be about the consumer first? But what are they protecting the consumer at this point?
No, none of these are about the consumer. It's all about money. It's all about advertisement and power and who's got the. It's basically a dick measuring contest at the end of the day. Like, that's what it is. It's who's got the bigger games, who's got the bigger sales, who's got the bigger announcements. Who gives a crap at the end of the day what the consumer gets or what the consumer wants when Sony has 3 inches on Microsoft? Do you know what I mean? It's what's the point? They don't give a shit. No. They're just whapping it out on the table and have a look at that. You can't touch it. You can't play with it. Just look at it.
Look at it.
This is 2 massive multi-billion-dollar corporations that are fighting for their bottom line. Now, don't get me wrong. Microsoft's bottom line is 12 times higher than Sony's bottom line. But Sony aren't exactly paupers in the market at $99 billion on the trade exchange and what have you. none of it's about the consumer. That's what the CMA, the EU Commission, and the FTC are meant to be for. And the FTC, like, looking at some of the comments coming out of them, like, did you see the one earlier this week where one of the ladies questioning Sony and Microsoft said, "Oh, but Sony have a 98% market share in consoles and high-end video games."
Do they?
No, not even
that seems
close.
like a very big number.
That's basically 100% saturation. That would be every single gamer on the planet having a PlayStation and primarily playing PlayStation games. That's just not.
That's
the
how
case.
my mum thought Nintendo was when I was young. She's like, "You playing the Nintendo?" I was like, "No, I'm on my PlayStation, Mum." You know, it's
that's it. It's you've got people making this legislation, overlooking these situations. Who haven't got a clue how it works. She's gone and just plucked a random number out of the sky. That's what's happened there. It's as Lee said, like parents back in the day. "Oh, are you on the PlayStation?" "No, I'm on the Xbox." "Well, that's a PlayStation, isn't it?" "No, it's not." Like, it's that sort of mentality mindset. They don't care about it. They don't use it day to day. So their understanding when trying to put legislation onto it, it just won't have any real bearing.
Did you see that TikTok court case that's going on in America at the moment? And one of the people was like, "Does this access your Wi-Fi?" And the guy, the TikTok guy's like, "Well, yeah, it does. That's how we get to the internet." And it's like, these are the people in charge of making these decisions.
Oh my
these
God.
are the people that are deciding whether or not an app can be like used in a country, and they just don't know whether they don't know how this shit works because they're dinosaurs.
Like dinosaurs would know it. Dinosaurs, like, you know what they're thinking. Eat or eat. And it's either meat or plants. At least with dinosaurs, you know where you stand. These idiots, it's like with the Facebook one years back. I don't know whether any of you guys saw that. But the guy asking if Facebook could track his iPhone. And he's like, "Well, no, we're Facebook, not Apple. We don't make the phone. We don't do any of the tracking services on it. Like, we can use them for specific features, but the individual has to allow it. So you can track my iPhone." No. And then they were doing the same with both Apple and Google as well. And it's like, well, no, that's an Apple phone. That's a Google phone. They have no understanding of the areas that they're meant to be legislating for. And what's absolutely terrifying is the speed at which AI is advancing. And it's allowing people to build games for all of these systems by just typing in words, and they're getting assets back and backgrounds back and what have you. And they're slow to legislate on the gaming consoles that have been around for 40 plus years at this point. This is how we get Skynet.
Is this it? Is this the beginning of the end?
They don't understand
the Activision Blizzard case is where we start to have the robot.
This is how we get Skynet.
This is where they create AI, and then these people are trying to legislate it, and that's how it decides that humanity needs to end.
Yeah.
Exactly, we're going to legislate it. You can't be smarter than us. And it's already smarter than them by a long shot.
It just feels like it's trying to teach its mum to install a printer. Like, it's just like, no, these people need...
don't. Like, my mum's 70 this year. Trying to teach her anything is... Like, if it's a game, like if it's a mobile phone game, she is there. Like, she's even got a controller, like actual proper gamepad controller now, that she can hook up to her tablet or her phone and play games on. She is a full gamer. She will learn a game inside out. But anything actually useful, like, hooking up a printer, signing into Netflix, resetting her router and what have you, no, she's not having any of that. It's like, she'll just give me a call, and it's like, my brother literally lives 5 doors away from you. Call him, for God's sake. He can walk to you. But it's that feeling. It's that feeling with this whole situation, with Microsoft, Activision Blizzard, with the AI. Like, it's that feeling of, "Mom, why are you calling me?"
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, I don't. Yeah.
I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
you're the favorite. That's how all of these kind of.
I'm the favorite son.
It's all these kind of trials and inquisitions feel. It's kind of just like, you don't understand what you're trying to legislate. Why don't we come back to this in a minute? And you've read something about it, anything about it, the manual, anything.
Well, that's the thing as well. Like the average Joe on the street probably knows more about this Activision Blizzard deal than the FTC, CMA, and European Commission combined, because they've got all the information that's been released by all of them, and none of them appear to be reading this themselves.
Bastards.
What do you think then, Lee? Do you think it's going to go through now that the CMA have at least changed their position on the console
I think it's
side
more
of
than
things?
likely to go through because no one gives a flying fudge about cloud gaming. Genuinely, I reckon it will go through in a couple of months. I think I'm very unbiased when it comes to things like this because I do own like a PlayStation, I do own an Xbox, so either way, it's thing. I used to play a lot of Call of Duty. I don't anymore because I didn't want to play.
Not into Warzone and stuff.
For Warzone's garbage. I'm not a fan of Warzone, but I didn't want to pay 60 quid for a slightly updated game every year. But if they put it on Game Pass, I give it a dabble.
You might jump
Turn
in.
it on
Yeah.
to whack out some zombies from time to time. Bye, Rob. If it's available on Game Pass for no added cost, I can just do it. Especially as Game Pass is available on PC as well. So if I want to play mouse and keyboard, play mouse and keyboard. If I want to play on it's just easier. It's just so much easier for me personally
It really
to do
is.
it through. Sorry, it's very rainy outside. Do it through Game Pass. So I'm a fan of Game Pass. I like the Game Pass model. I've played so many games that I would never have played if it wasn't for Game Pass. So, have at it, Microsoft. Buy whatever you want. I just can't wait for Candy Crush to come to home consoles. That's all I'm on.
I had Bejeweled on PlayStation 3. So the original Bejeweled, not like any of the upgraded ones, because it was given away one month for free. And it worked actually really well. Like the speed you could play at, it was higher than even a touchscreen, which was nice because it might be me, it might be I'm just used to the D-pad and face button input, which made it really quick and easy. But it might be that that's the better method of input to it. So I've never got into Candy Crush on home consoles, for example.
The time's now. It's coming.
I could see Candy Crush on home consoles actually being a big win.
And that's what Microsoft are bringing to us, and that's what Sony's trying to stop it.
Candy Crush on home consoles.
Sony, the villains of this story. I want Candy Crush now.
I want Candy Crush. Do you want Candy Crush on home consoles, Rob? Now you've returned.
No. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. That takes me back to the days
Can't argue with that. You heard it here first.
Xbox. That takes me back to the days of Xbox 360 and when Feeding Frenzy and stuff like that were the marketplace games. That felt like that kind of market.
Yeah.
What was the game shoot? PopCap Games.
What do you think overall on it, though? Do you think it's going to go through?
Yeah.
PopCap, yes.
I think it's going to go through, yeah.
I'm also of agreement. I'm similar to you, Lee, on that matter. I have access to all of these things. I have a PlayStation. I don't have an Xbox, but I have access to Xbox Cloud, which is good enough for how often I use it. And I sent you that beautiful Hi-Fi Rush glitch that I had
very
on the cloud. It looked fine. It played well. It was a hilarious dance that I had going on in that game.
Very good fun.
So I have access to it. It's not really going to affect me. As Lee says, Game Pass is on PC. It's not going to affect PC players. All of these deals they've signed with the other cloud services, they mean nothing because Game Pass is on PC. Why would you bother buying the game to use it on any of these other cloud gaming services when you could just use Game Pass? It's a win-win for Activision Blizzard and Microsoft. It's a win for most consumers. I do think it sets a bit of a dangerous precedent of the size of acquisitions that can go ahead. and how many people have that sort of money. But that's a regulatory problem, not a consumer me problem.
Yeah, definitely. I do think it.
So yeah, I think it's going to go ahead. Likely, I think it's probably a couple.
I think it'll be
months.
done by June. Personally, I think it'll be done in June. Around then, few months, jobs are good, and
I think that's probably when they'll say, yeah, sign on the dotted line, you can go ahead. The actual full merger and transition, probably 6 months after that. So we're probably looking to start at 2024. That
I want
anything
Candy Crush now.
Realistically changes. I know you want Candy Crush now.
Candy.
I need it. I want it. I want Candy Crush.
Okay, so the way these places are built, they absolutely destroy the signal. Like if you're in a room, like if I didn't have the extender hooked in and went to the door just over there, if I went over the threshold onto the landing, I would have full gigabit connection on the standard router. But I come into this room and I've got 4 megabits per second. Like it makes no sense, and I feel that's what Rob's getting at the moment.
Everything I own is wired in. Literally everything is Ethernet. I ran it because I'm in my loft. I ran an Ethernet outside my house down into the thingy. I've got 2 long ass Ethernet cables that come all the way up, but I've got an Ethernet hub as well. So I like literally if it has an Ethernet, I'm sticking it in. I bought the adapter for the Switch. I bought I own so many fucking cables and everything just so I can just Ethernet everything in. Jobs are good.
I've got all of these dongles that go into the tab for when we're recording this and such, so I can plug in the microphone, so I can plug in like my phone as say an external webcam, so I've got like a 4K webcam from the phone. None of these dongles have an Ethernet port, so I went looking for one because like one of the cloud services that I'm doing a review on was like, oh, you need to connect to Ethernet or 5 gigahertz frequency. It was already on 5 gigahertz, so the only alternative was the Ethernet. 40 fucking quid, man, for an Ethernet port for a tablet. And that was the cheapest I could find. It wasn't even a good quality one.
That's not.
It's madness, utter madness. But yeah. You've had issues with your internet, Rob. You've dropped out on us twice so far.
This is just. Sometimes it's absolutely fine here. Sometimes it's not. Just did a quick speed test while I was off, and I'm getting like 15 meg upload, but 2 meg download. So that's fun, interesting problem to have.
What is going on with your download?
I had no idea. But that's now that we
seriously,
have got a
man
thing, I am. Oh god, terrible. But the thing is, it's like, yeah, you've got a full Wi-Fi connection. Like, have I, though? Have I? I think you're lying.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. It's like, it's absolutely fine. Is it? Define fine. That does make a nice segue into the issues I had recently with changing my broadband provider. So I think I spoke to you last time about Leela Connect was making the switch to them. Because they'd been sniffing around our estate. Yeah,
I didn't name someone. Yeah,
sorry, Wibble. But
these are actual names. Me and Rob just sitting here raw dogging it with our names out on the out on the internet, and then Doragon and Wibble.
You've never been stalked by weird people on the internet.
Never gonna know my name.
So yeah, Wibble was moving too.
There's good reason. There's good reason.
So Wibble was moving to Leela Connect, and they were sniffing around our estate as well at the time. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll go for that. I'll have a little look. So I registered my interest, and then a few weeks later, they came to me when we finished working. You can order your internet. I was like, oh, all right, sweet. So went through my order. Did all that, and then waited, and then waited a bit more, and about 3 weeks later, with them saying we're just finishing configuring stuff, you'll be able to arrange your install date soon. I was like, when is soon? What is this date? This mythical soon? you keep speaking about, and so I emailed them and was like, what's the crack? And they were like, yeah, soon. I was like, yeah, that you've said, but define, let's put some times on this. What is soon? The response I got back was, oh, well, actually, you've placed a pre-order for your internet. It's not actually an order. Like, what? Okay, so when you took like my card details and set up the direct debit and stuff, that was all part of a pre-order, and they're like, yeah, you can't actually order it yet. I'm like, okay.
Pre-order.
I'm like, no, it wasn't, though, was it? It was an order. Like, literally, here's my order confirmation. It was an order. And they were like, yeah, we're not configured in your area yet. I'm like, okay, that's fine. How long? Not sure. You take a guess. Just a rough guess. 6 months, a year. Okay, cool. So I rang them up and was like, so I placed my order, and they're like, pre-order. I'm like, no, order. It like this order confirmation says it was an order. Anyway, what do you expect me to do for 6 months while my contract's expired with who I'm with now and paying a fortune? They were like, I don't know. We can give you some free line rental. I'm like, well, that would be really cool if I was with you and could get any internet with you, but I can't. So what good would that do me anyway? So yeah, that's the saga I've had, and basically I've just gone, yeah, no, cancel my pre-order, and we'll call it quits. But there we go.
That's
I
weird.
just thought I'd bring that to the table to explain the really strange practices that.
That's mad.
Really weird, isn't it?
Why would they say that you were configured and ready to go, and then bye? Why can no one just
yeet.
stay up on this fucking call? Why am I the only person that's able to bloody stay here the whole
It's you
time?
and your Etherneted shit.
I feel like I just need to leave randomly from time to time to like just fit in with you guys.
Just to join the club.
Everybody's doing it. Bye.
Bye. All the cool
Honest
kids are
to
doing
God.
it. But yeah, that is the story of my short and brief relationship with Leela Connect and their strange ordering, configuring practices.
Sounds fun.
Still, interestingly, if you go on their website and check availability, now it says that every other house on the street, bar mine, is available. But
really?
I would question that.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah. It's like, no, not you.
So, Wibble, what do you think about the current state of the DC cinematic universe and all of James Gunn's other stuff, and the fact that The Rock used his big cock to stop Shazam being in Black Adam, etc.? That's all I know about DC.
Fucked in it, bruv.
Maybe use different words.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
They've relaxed the swearing policy.
Fuck yeah!
It's knackered, isn't it, bruv?
Women fuck. Yeah.
That was enough for Dorogon. He's gone. That was enough for him. They're saying fuck again. He's off.
Oh god. So the DC universe. James Gunn has announced his 30-step program.
First step is an NFT.
First step is an NFT. The second step is to say, it's Zachary Levi, isn't it? The Shazam guy.
Shazam.
Yeah. You are still Shazam, so I'm going to pick and choose from the last DCEU, and then and you do what you want because you're Elseworlds, you're fine. But Henry Cavill, no. You're gone, mate. You're gone. You're in the bin. See you later. As for that 8 to 10 minute video that he did, I wasn't opposed to the layout of it. I quite liked it. I like how anything that isn't DCU, they've dropped the EU because it's not extended, it's just the DC universe now, is going to be clearly labeled as Elseworlds. And I like Elseworlds. I like the comics and things like that. That's good. But for me, the biggest thing for me that I despise is what I've just made a joke about. He's picking and choosing. And why can't we just have Henry Cavill? I know I need to let it go, but I can't.
I want it back.
I do. He's Superman, isn't he? He is Superman.
He is Superman. 100%.
There's no reason
and
why
I'm
you
right
can't.
there with you. And it's like...
There's no reason why you can't be an Elseworld Superman now. There's no reason. Just clearly marked as Elseworlds. I'm happy. But are they keeping Momoa? Does that come out?
Calling for and just have the Snyderverse adjacent. Let
Surely they've got
Snyder
to
finish that story rather than have it half done.
Yeah, but has anyone seen the new Shazam yet? Has anyone watched it?
I watched it on the weekend.
Awesome.
I've not yet seen it, but I really enjoyed the first one, and I like Zachary Levi as an actor. So
It's pretty
I'm
good.
hoping it's
I mean,
good.
it's okay.
It's not as good as the first, is it?
I don't think it's as good as the first, but I think it was still pretty watchable. There were still some good moments in it that I
Yeah.
really enjoyed.
Yeah. Has everybody seen the trailer with the big spoiler in yet?
What, the end bit?
The one
the
with the
cameo.
one with the yes.
The
Yes,
middle,
I have.
the end credit, the middle one, because we didn't stay all the way till the end. We just watched the middle one.
Okay, Rob doesn't know what we're on about, so I'm just going to spoil it for Rob and the rest of the viewers. So if you don't want spoilers,
Wait,
skip
yeah,
ahead
yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Guys,
yeah.
if you don't want spoilers for
Mute.
the end of
when
Of
he has
Shazam.
spoiled it, I will hold my hands back up and you can unmute. So mute now.
Wonder Woman.
So Wonder Woman makes an appearance and it's Gal Gadot. So
I
that
love Gal Gadot, man.
yeah, so that kind of to me says that they're keeping her. They're keeping Shazam, they're keeping Gal Gadot, they're keeping Jason Momoa in some form, shape, or way.
Surely they've got to bin Ezra. Is it Ezra Miller?
As they got to. They've got to bin
bin
him.
Ezra
No,
Miller.
everything Gunn has said is says they're keeping.
He
Ezra
likes him,
Miller.
doesn't he? Yeah, he likes him.
He
Likes them.
them.
Likes them.
Yes, sorry, he likes them.
He does like them, and
They is a them,
Flash
isn't
trailer
they?
looks good.
Yes. So, but aren't they like a criminal and shit? Aren't they a bit of a
Yes.
nut job?
Yes.
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 Why would you keep them on? Why don't you just get Grant Gustin from the TV show? Because I think he was brilliant.
I don't know. He had such bad scripts. Like the TV show was so badly written that I have no idea how good Grant Gustin actually is.
I like Grant. I thought like some of the TV series, the first few series were actually pretty good. I don't really like superhero TV shows. I think most of them are quite bad, but the Flash, the first few, the since like a certain point, they're garbage.
Yeah,
Like the
writing's
Supergirl's garbage. Arrow became garbage. Flash is now garbage. But the first couple of seasons of Flash I genuinely enjoyed it, and I thought he made a good Flash.
I mean, they could easily bring him in. They've got this whole. They're doing like the Elseworlds idea, and
Yeah.
they have appeared together on screen, haven't they? In was it the Crisis on Infinite?
The Infinite.
Earths
It's
crossover?
the Infinite Crisis one, yeah.
So you've had Ezra Miller and Grant Gustin together. So yeah, they can coexist. That you could replace him with the change timeline, because from what the trailer's saying, it's the Flashpoint paradox, the Flash movie, essentially.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well,
So
the trailer
everything's
is
gonna
like
change
there's
that
two
way.
Ezra Millers in the trailer, isn't there?
Well, yeah,
Like, have you seen the
well,
trailer for the Flash? There's like, to be fair, I don't like Ezra Miller as the Flash. I didn't think they were the best choice, but that film looks pretty fun. I must say that film
looks
like,
good.
Batman's in it.
Annoyingly so.
They've got annoyingly so. They've got that super woman girl person's in it. It's not
Kara.
spoilers. It's in the trailer. Watch the trailer, all right? It's not spoilers. It's in the trailer. But yeah, Supergirl's in it, so it looks pretty good. I'm cautiously optimistic for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
me too.
Well, they're saying that's the point that sets up the DCU, aren't they? That's the end of that is the end of the DCEU. So, are they going? I'm more than happy to keep Michael Keaton as Batman. More than happy, but they're not, are they? They've saying that it's George Clooney. A report. George
What?
Clooney is DCU's
The
Batman.
worst Batman ever.
That's the report.
Bat
I don't know how
nipples.
much. Yeah,
Bat
I don't know
nips.
how.
Yeah. That's why he's back. Bring back the nips, baby.
I don't know how much of a valid thing that is, but yeah, allegedly it is Mr. Clooney back. So they had a great older Batman with Ben Affleck, phenomenal Batman.
Batfleck,
I like
blew me
Batfleck.
away. Like I
Batfleck
remember when he
was
was
good.
announced, and I remember us lot when we worked together. it was a case of the three of us were like, nah, why would you put Ben Affleck in there? What the hell's wrong with you? Whose idiotic casting decision was that?
I've always been a fan of Ben Affleck. I've always been a fan of Ben Affleck.
He was the bomb in Phantom Show.
I think I was jaded by his Daredevil performance.
Which served him well for this
Yeah,
Batman.
it did. And but when he appeared on screen as
Phenomenal
Batman, fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's what is annoying me most. We had some of the best possible actors in role for these characters. They had been cast by Snyder, they'd been written by Snyder, they had portrayed themselves so exceptionally well. And we're losing that. And it's through...
we're not losing it all, though. Only the bits that Mr. Gunn doesn't want.
So most of it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the big two. So he doesn't want Bats, he doesn't want Soups.
No.
Which are the two that the fans really, really liked. Like you say, he's keeping Momoa, but the rumors I've seen are Momoa's going to be Lobo, not Aquaman.
Who the fuck is Lobo?
Lobo is a
Hell Rider type thing.
He's like a space bounty hunter for aliens, but yeah, he's think Dog the Bounty Hunter on a big space bike and cooler.
I'm in for it. I'm sold already.
Lobo is a pretty cool. To be fair, Lobo is a pretty cool character. He normally tangles with Soups on the odd occasion, which is quite nice. He's a decent character. I think Momoa would play him well, but for me, who are they going to put as thingy now as Aquaman?
Maybe they've just been
Aquaman because there's so many people that still just put him as the butt of a joke, even though he's one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe.
I don't know what they're going to do with it. I just think that. Go on, Lee.
The thing with Aquaman 2, anything anyone wants to talk about Aquaman 2 is to do with Amber Heard now. That's the issue you're going to have.
Yeah,
like you've got the Flash. They're just talking about Ezra Miller being a bellend. The Aquaman 2, it's Amber Heard shits the bed. You know, it's these films.
Shazam, it's Zachary Levi is anti-vax.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I mean, you had that with Black Panther 2 as well, though, isn't it? The main lass in Black Panther 2 is very anti-vax as well.
It is slightly different with Zachary Levi. He's anti-Pfizer, and it makes no sense. This is a very well-educated man to be coming out with some crap
even
like that.
With like Shazam and Black Adam, there's the apparent beef now with The Rock. Apparently, The Rock's been a bit of a dick.
I was going to say, shall we talk about that as well? Because that's quite meaty.
The Rock got his Billy Big Boy bollocks out, and I don't get me wrong, I like The Rock. I'm a big fan of The Rock. I think The Rock doesn't get enough props for his performances as he deserves, because sometimes he does play the same character. Well, he plays the same character a lot, but I like the character. It's fun to watch. So I like The Rock, but
than he gets credit for, definitely.
Yes.
Did you ever watch, was it Pain and Gain with Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
The Rock was fantastic in that.
Yeah.
The Rock played a really different character in that. I thought he was great. That was a funny film. But
did you guys see him in Central Intelligence as well? Like it was the Rock character, but
with Kevin Hart,
and I really liked that.
Was that when he used to be fat?
Yeah,
but then he then became that wasn't too bad actually. I enjoyed Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart annoys me. I like Kevin Hart, but he annoys me.
Saying about different roles of The Rock, did anybody see one of his first roles in a film called Southland Tales?
No,
I've never actually seen Southland Tales.
I do think I've seen.
So
it,
from the Donnie Darko director, is it Richard Wright, the director? He did Southland Tales. Now Southland Tales is split into half a book, so you have to buy like a comic book, like graphic novel 1, 2, and 3, and then the film is chapters 4, 5, and 6. Now The Rock is a movie star, and he's going out on a role, and he's playing a cop. And it kind of snowballs from there. He's not the main character, but he's one of the characters. That is a very different role for The Rock. And for me, growing up with the eyebrow-raising, pie-eating, jabroni-beating son of a gun, for me, it was like, whoa, hang on a minute. And I love The Rock. I love him to bits. He can be shit as he wants. But I love him. But this Zachary Levi stuff has kind of just made me raise the people's eyebrow and go, really? Why have you done that, you knob? What's the point? It's like he's tried to do his power play with I've got Superman back, fuck Shazam. And then Gunn's gone, no. Shazam's my mate, you're gone. And so is your mate Cavill. That's what it feels like. It feels like a pissing match.
Yeah, and it's like the best, like, we're talking as Shazam origin stories here as well. Like, in the Shazam origin, Shazam is not good enough to go one-on-one with Black Adam. Like, not initially anyway. He can't take it. There's 3 animated movies of Shazam and Superman versus Black Adam. Because Superman can't face Black Adam alone because Black Adam has magic and Superman is weak to magic. Shazam can't face Black Adam alone because Shazam is incredibly naive. He's a child in a man's body with some magic powers. He has no idea how to fight this godlike creature. So it needs both of them to be able to take him down. And I understand building the hype, putting Cavill in that post-credit scene, but degrading Shazam as Black Adam is like you're degrading your own place in this narrative. And it's mess. I know it's how the industry works. It shouldn't be how the industry works. I would like everybody to just get on, do their job, go home, sort of thing.
Be friendly. Be friendly. Be nice to one another.
And that's how I would love it to be. But movies apparently only get made if you go in and drop the people's elbow on people.
That's it. That's how it's done.
I just think it's all a complete mess at the minute. I just think there was too many kooks. I think they should have quietly announced everything. Like quietly made sure. I know James Gunn's like, well, this is what's going on. I mean, we've also got Blue Beetle as well, still to come in.
I know Gunn's good at this, taking characters people don't know and bringing them in. Look at his Guardians and Rocket Raccoon. Blue Beetle's a kid with an alien beetle that gives him powerful armor
attached to his back.
Yeah, it's basically a beetle backpack. Weird, but works. But he goes under the tutelage of Batman for a while, and we don't have a Batman for the DCU yet. Like, we had Robert Pattinson's Batman early in 2022, and it was phenomenal. And he's not going to be using him as the main Batman in the DCU.
No, they're keeping him as Elseworlds. They said Matt Reeves and Batman, doing their own thing. That they're keeping him out.
They let them do their own thing though, because I got very invested into that Batman film. I thought it was very good.
It was brilliant. And like you say, if they let them do their own thing with it, that's going to be. I imagine it would probably overtake the Christian Bale trilogy of Batman films if they allow him to do their own thing. But he's superb. Why are you not using him? And if you're not using him, why aren't you using Batfleck, who is the established DC Universe Batman? And
doesn't Blue Beetle go with Booster Gold quite a bit as well?
Who?
If I'm not mistaken, Booster Gold is.
You're just saying words at this point.
No,
basically, this is the issue so many people are having. What Lee's having right now?
Doesn't Booster Gold go with Hangle Spangle for a minute, and then?
So Booster Gold is a failed superhero from the future, and he travels back in time to tell everyone how great he is. And then that shows, oh, I did this, I did that, I knew Superman, I knew this, and he got fame from there. Where in reality, he's a bit shit. He's not the best, but him and Blue Beetle were always synonymous from what I always got. So I don't know. I know they are doing the Booster Gold.
What's the Fire Dude? Or is he just with Blue Beetle in the Injustice games?
He's just with him in the Injustice games, I believe.
Right, okay.
I'm sure it's Booster and Blue Beetle. I could be wrong. If I am, tell me in the comments. But I'm sure that it's him.
In the comments. It's Hangle Spangle, you prick.
Just tell me in the comments. But going down the list of this thing quickly, I mean, we've got Creature Commandos, which I know absolutely zero about.
I've read a lot of DC and I know nothing about that.
No. So it's a 7-episode animated series written by James Gunn. Shock horror. It's people that we don't know, written by James Gunn.
Is his wife going to be in there somewhere?
Probably.
Probably.
This is another bit, isn't it? Like,
probably.
Oh my days. Like...
Nepotism at its finest, folks. Nepotism at its finest.
His wife's going to be the new Batman. That's who.
Batwoman. She's Barbara Gordon, really.
Oh
No, it says here, it's a modern take on a team of monsters that were assembled to fight Nazis. The voice cast will also portray the live-action version of the characters if the anti-heroes show up in movies or things. Now, the issue with that is one looks like Frankenstein, one's Weasel, that's fine, we've seen. One looks like a robot soldier. One looks like a lady Frankenstein. One looks like a skeleton, a fiery skeleton. One looks like Abe from Hellboy 2, and the other just looks like a guy. How the hell are they going to do that? So anyway, moving on.
CG, it's Rocket Raccoon all over again, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
they're portraying this person in the live action. No, they're voice acting for it. And maybe doing the mocap. But like you look at Rocket, to do the mocap for Rocket, they've got a kid most of the time because of how short he is.
Thought you were going to say they had, what's his face? Wicket Raccoon guy. I forgot his name now. Oh, who's the little guy? He's the most famous. Warwick Davies. I thought you were going to say you have Warwick Davies. That's going about. But no, we've got Waller.
Well, Groot's a tennis ball most of the time.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah,
like,
on a thing into.
Oh, they're going to portray them in live action. What, as a tennis ball?
So moving on, we've got Waller, which has got again the actual voice, the actual actress Viola Davis from all of the Snyderverse. So we're keeping her. Why not? We might as well. We keep everything else apart from Superman and Batman. That's going to be just a spin-off of Peacemaker. They're saying.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense.
Amanda Waller formed the Suicide Squad in core continuity. I've not watched the Suicide Squad movie. It didn't enamor itself to me, but I'm assuming
the newer one wasn't
it follows the basic
awful.
principle. Waller brings people together, sends them out to kill people.
The newer one was better than the original. I watched both of the original, so I watched the normal and the extended, and both were horrible. However, the normal version is better than the extended version by a mile. It's yeah, that's right. Yeah, but it makes sense because she's been in it all the way through. She is a good Amanda Waller. She is a good. Again, another good casting. I wonder who casted that. Zack Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
But then we're moving on to Superman Legacy, which they're saying is setting off the DCU correctly. So, Creature Commandos, Waller, Blue Beetle.
Stuff?
Yeah, none of that is starting phase one. Apparently, this is starting phase one.
Oh, can we do away with these phases, please? Because we've seen with like phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they're just trash.
It's not a phase for DC. It's a chapter.
This is just another way of saying
it's
phase,
just another
bro.
word for it, yeah.
I know, but I just wanted to say the correct term. And I believe, isn't it called Gods and something? Gods and Men or something? Gods and Monsters. Yeah, Gods and Monsters.
The original name of Immortals Phoenix Rising, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the upcoming Superman, written by James Gunn, shock, directed by James Gunn, shock. Starring James Gunn, shock, and starring his wife, shock.
James Gunn's wife, shock.
James Gunn's wife is Superman.
James Gunn's wife is Batman.
And it's not an origin story.
It's the James Gunn's wife extended universe.
The JGW EU.
Yeah,
it's one of those. I am foreseeing the same issue with the DCU as I have with the MCU, and it's one person's vision overseeing everything, and that one person is so protective, so must be done my way, that they don't take into account what audiences want, that they don't take into account what will spread word of mouth about how good this might be. I fear we're going to just end up in the same situation with the DCU as we've had with the DCEU, or the Snyderverse, or whatever you want to call it, and that we currently have with the MCU, where nothing's enjoyable. Everything is going for this laugh-a-minute type approach, when sometimes we need the serious stuff. We need a powerful, weighted story, and there's no variation in any superhero movie that's come out in the past 3, probably since Endgame. There has been no.
I still like Shang-Chi.
I was
Shang-Chi.
literally about to say Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi had a bit of everything. Shang-Chi was funny, but it also had a story. It also had some emotion.
Yeah.
I think Shang-Chi is probably probably the best Marvel film since Endgame. In my
100%.
I think what else there's been. I don't think there's been anything else that's come close in terms of just
Eternals,
a really good film.
Multiverse,
Eternals was
Black
garbage.
Panther 2. Eternals was terrible.
Spider-Man was good. I'll give Spider-Man its.
But
Spider-Man was
the same issues. It was undermined at every turn. They had this weighted moment, stupid joke.
Yeah.
It's good to have a bit of both. It's good to have a bit of
both. It's not good to undermine the weighted moment with a stupid joke.
I don't know. On the flip side, though, if you have something like Batman versus Superman, that was just grim. That was boring.
Was brilliant. It was superb.
Grim.
The extended version is a lot more cohesive. I will say that. Did I enjoy it? Yes. I don't mind the Martha because they are both called Martha.
Well, yeah, their parents are called Martha. And it's like,
can't kill you now because our mums are the same.
Save my mum.
But he's a deeply troubled man.
Effect. Like, who am I looking for? Who is my mum? Are you my mum? Are you my mum? You can't.
If I went to kill Hitler and Hitler was like says my mum's name, I'm just gonna be like, "Fuck, bro! Yeah, you good, bro? Get up.
Yeah,
we got mums together. Let's go."
You don't have severe
beer,
PTSD like Batman does.
Yeah, I mean, I think the execution of the word Martha was poor. I can't. I'm not going. I'm not going to. God. There's your title, Martha.
Yeah, the title's just
Martha.
All right.
Why did you say her name?
For the next episode, I'll come round, stand on your throat, and you execute the word Martha better.
Okay. Why did you say that name? Why did you say the name? Oh, sorry, bro. Let me get my throat off. Let me voice off your throat.
This is for Jesse Eisenberg. Who the fuck thought that was a good idea?
I didn't mind him.
Jesse Eisenberg.
No,
he isn't Lex Luthor.
I really like Jesse Eisenberg. I think Jesse Eisenberg is great. Don't get me wrong. Nothing against him, but he was not the right casting for that.
James Gunn's keeping him, apparently. He isn't.
Don't do that to us.
I thought he was okay as a weirdo, but as a Lex Luthor, no.
To be fair, though, if you watch like the DC series, isn't it like, is it John Cryer they've got as is it John Cryer? I don't know, but they've got the guy from 2.5 Men as Lex Luthor and that, and I don't know if that works either. I don't know if that works either. To be fair, he's better though. He's better than Jesse Eisenberg, but still, I'm not sure that works either.
It's like you go back to like the '90s show, like Clark and Lois and Clark. I don't remember which way.
Lois and Clark.
Adventures of Superman. Yeah. What the hell was that, Lex Luthor? This super pretty playboy with massively long locks of hair. Like, he's meant to be ugly, a genius, and bold. Like, you could not have got further from the mark with this casting choice.
But on the flip side of having really terrible Jesse Eisenberg, really terrible the 90s Playboy, we had Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville.
Yeah,
who was absolutely phenomenal as Lex.
If I remember, my mum used to watch Smallville, so I caught bits.
I've got them all.
I remember the Lex in that being pretty decent.
He was really, really good, and then he fell out at, I think, series 5 or 6, I think it was, for money or something, and he left. And then they brought back Lex clones, and then right at the end, he come back, and it was great. The only issue was they did the thing that I absolutely despise, and they did a mind wipe. So he no longer knows who Superman is. Like, oh, fucking hell, why? Don't do that. I hate that and stuff. It's a cop-out. But anyway, we've got Start Superman Legacy. We'll go through these quick. We've got lanterns. So Green Lantern.
Ryan Reynolds, by any chance?
I was about to say,
no.
Ryan Reynolds. There's got to be a Ryan Reynolds cameo in there. There's got to be. Please.
So that's going to be a series.
CG suit, yeah.
Is that a series? Oh, okay.
That's a TV series. That's going to be focusing on Hal Jordan and John Stewart.
So we're getting both Green Lanterns.
You're getting
Green
both.
Lanterns.
Hence the title of Lanterns.
So are we keeping the Snyderverse Lantern, who we never actually saw on screen, or is he getting rid of him?
I don't know, but it is
John
being
Stewart,
done.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, they are doing Greg Berlanti. Greg Berlanti's doing it. He did loads of Arrow and loads of Supergirl and stuff, the rubbish ones, and Flash.
Oh no.
So
Okay,
there's
so
that
that's
one.
in the bin. Let's move on.
Yep. That's
We've got
pinned.
the Authority, a movie based on the Wildstorm superheroes. No idea.
Okay.
So the Authority weren't originally DC. The Authority were an independent comic, basically ripping off the Justice League.
Wasn't
And
it the ones
being-
where it's Captain England or someone they've got?
No,
They did the
no,
thing.
that-
Didn't they do that?
The European version. Somebody did a European version of the Justice League, but the Authority was. Think The Boys. Think Invincible.
Was it with Owlman?
No, that's also DC. That's
You just
Elseworlds.
You're just making shit up. That's not real.
No, I'm not.
What about the Pigeon Patrol? Is they like, come on.
Wait till he hears about the Court of Owls or the Court of
I know, yeah.
Is DC the one with the Condiment King or whatever his name is? Like,
Yes. No, that's Marvel.
Is that Marvel? Bullshit.
Or it's both of them.
I want
Or
it.
it's I don't.
I'm pretty sure he was
Bullshit.
in. Wasn't it? I'm pretty sure he was in. Wasn't I played Lego Batman? He was in it. I can't remember.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It's DC, I'm sure.
Batman got some really weird villains because he started off. Batman killed originally. Batman walked around with a gun and was just killing all of these bad guys in his vigilantism. And then America basically, America passed a law that comic books can't be dark. So
Amazing.
the sort of 60s era Adam West Batman is actually the most authentic page to screen adaptation going, because that is what Batman was at that moment in time, thanks to this new legislation. It was that he became grimdark again, but they took away his killing everyone.
So he was allowed to be Gatman.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed to be Gatman again. He was just Batman.
Oh. Ooh.
So yeah, it's they've gone like a lot of Batman's sort of rogues gallery came up in that weird hippie era of Batman. So yeah, Condiment King. I know he is.
I'm sure he is. So there's that one. Then the next one. This one does appeal to me. It's weird. So it's called Paradise Lost. It's a HBO Max series that is said to be a Game of Thrones style drama set on Themyscira, and it takes place prior to Wonder Woman. So for those that don't know, Themyscira is Wonder Woman's home island. It's where she's from. So is it just going to be like Amazon fighting Amazon, undermining Amazon, let's be sneaky and let's be like Claudius stuff?
Well, Ares will probably be part of it, won't he? The god of War.
Yeah, will the gods be in it? Yeah, that's another thing.
Because Ares was in the original Wonder Woman, and if this is a prequel.
And he was. This takes place prior to Wonder Woman. So this may be Elseworlds, and this may just be set on its own, kind of like Spartacus, but obviously with not Spartacus. So that makes sense, like that kind of like style. That's my take on it. That's why it interests me a little bit.
See what they do with it, because I hate when they liken it to Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones went down the pan the moment they stopped adapting the books, because there were no more books.
I was going to say when they caught up, when there were no more books.
I hate when they liken it to that, because it was just an incohesive mess. And I like the idea of doing something with Themyscira and fleshing Themyscira out, because it's only ever there when Wonder Woman's there. Otherwise, in the comics, in the animated, in the live actions that we've had. So yeah, I would love to see more of it, but it very much, again, it's the execution, and who's writing it? Is Gunn or his wife writing it?
Doesn't say. But moving on to the next one. Now, this one I am very, very interested in, and it's The Brave and the Bold Batman, featuring Damian Wayne.
Yeah, if they do, I'm glad we're finally getting a Robin, and hopefully they do a Robin well. And with it being Damian, he is the latest Robin we've got. So we could have the Red Robin, we could have the Red Hood, we could have Nightwing as well. And if they bring the Nightwing over from the Titans show, I think he does a fantastic job.
He's great. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant. So I could be persuaded to be very interested in that. But again, we've got two great Batmen currently. We've got another one coming back who was phenomenal in the 80s. It's like, you're just throwing yet another Batman at us. Like, let one of them settle into the role and deliver.
Speaking of Batman, Batman Part 2 is the next one. October the 3rd, 2025, that's scheduled for.
Fair.
Again, Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves, it'll be there.
It'll be fantastic. Yeah, if it's
Yeah.
half as good as the last one, it'll be great.
Yeah. Next one, Booster Gold, which we've kind of mentioned. HBO series based on a lower tier superhero. There you go. The next is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, a Supergirl movie that will be based on the Tom King miniseries. I don't know what that is. I've not seen it. I have to look up on it.
So we'll get the Supergirl that we're seeing in the Flash movie?
It doesn't say.
Originally supposed to be, but that was planned basically to be coming out now because the Flash movie was meant to come out like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So that originally we were meant to get that Supergirl movie now because the suit, I've seen the suit in the Flash. It was at MCM Comic Con before lockdown, along with the Flash's suit. So I don't know how they're changing that up, whether it will be the same actress because she's obviously going to be by 2025, 2026. She's 10 years older than when she was cast, at which point she's more Superwoman than Supergirl.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well that's going to go. Hopefully they give her her dues and put her in there, but again, it's going to depend on script, isn't it? And if the Superman script isn't good, is the Supergirl script going to be good?
Depends who's writing it, and it doesn't say. I mean, obviously James Gunn's writing it. James Gunn's writing Legacy, Superman Legacy. I think the writing will be good. It depends where he goes with it. Will he try and go Guardians light, or will he go a little bit more serious? Like, is it Brightburn? It was Brightburn.
Yeah.
No, it was Brightburn. Yeah, he did Brightburn, which is a bit more serious.
Yeah.
So I don't know
goes
if it's somewhere in
serious
between.
I could get behind it.
Yeah. So to close out the last chapter of the DCU is something that I am super excited about. I can't hide this one. Swamp Thing, DC horror movie. I watched the now cancelled Swamp Thing series, the one series, and it was freaking ace. I love that Swamp Thing series. It was so good.
Swamp Thing.
So for me, for have Swampy back in, I'm happy. And if we have Swampy, I hope we get Solomon Grundy. That's how he's affectionately known as.
Swampy. Swampy.
How many dogs and cats are going to end up being called Swampy if they actually put
My
that
dog's
in?
over there looking at me like, what the fuck are you on about, mate?
Mine bit me earlier, the little shit. Mine bit me.
Prick.
Oh.
Don't have a dog.
Well,
no, none of these issues.
So that's the full first chapter. So for me, looking at it, there doesn't seem a common theme. Obviously, it's gods and monsters, but it feels like there's nothing running through it, like a single narrative. It feels Creature Commandos, then we're over to Wallow, then we're bouncing to Superman, then we're bouncing to the Lanterns, then we're going to somebody that I don't even know the authority. Then we're going to Themyscira. Now we're going to Batman. Now we're going to Batman again. And then we're going to Booster Gold, Superwoman, and then a DC horror movie. It's like, what? It's nice to be varied, but I'm a little bit confused of where it's going.
Over time, isn't it? Like some of these are set in different timelines and different points in the timeline. So it's like
how many of these are actually going to be DC?
Like you say, I think
how many of these are going to be Elseworlds? How many of these are going to be Elseworlds? Because they don't say they're Elseworlds. So it looks like they're all going to be part of the DCU.
But we know Robert Pattinson's Batman is Elseworlds, and that doesn't say Elseworlds.
Yeah.
No. But it obviously is going to, it doesn't say it's Elseworlds on the article I'm looking at, but it obviously will be. I think your main ones here are going to be Superman, Bold and the Brave and the Bold, Supergirl, and Swamp Thing. I think they're going to be your main DCU.
So it's the same big hitters we had previously, just starting again.
Yeah. And then the fleshing stuff out with TV series, just like Phase 4 did.
Because that
and
went
then
so
you've got
well.
Give us Shang-Chi, I'm happy. But then you get Batman 2, like squished in the middle, just doing his own thing. And it's like, right, okay, but if I've got a new Batman featuring Damian Wayne, what's going to make me want to watch that, or vice versa? If I'm watching Batman Part 2, and then I go and look at Batman Brave and the Bold, and I'm like, who's this Batman?
Yeah, it's different
What's
Batman.
going on here? Yeah, and where's Joker 2?
Joker 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, because they're doing the second part of Joker.
Folie Du or whatever it's fucking called. With Lady Gaga. I don't know.
My take right now is that nothing feels like it's changed. We have a singular head of DC right now, which is meant to bring more cohesion to it, and it feels as random and as varied as previously.
Yeah. This is how much I like the original Joker. I got it with a vinyl, a purple vinyl. You can't see that because of the blend. But yeah, I got a super rare version of it. That's how much I like the Joker. So I'm excited for Joker 2. And it's not here. They didn't mention it. It's like, why did you not mention it? I'm just, as you say, it's same old with a different face.
Yeah. And for someone like Lee who doesn't know the ins and outs like we did, like I know about the Authority because they were a rip-off Justice League. DC bought out the company that made the Authority, brought them into DC and had them fight the Justice League. So my thought is that's what they're doing with the Authority movie. They're making a Justice League team to go against the Justice League.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do very quickly, quick fire here for you, Lee. This is for you, mate. Do you know who Shazam is?
Yeah, I watched the film literally a week ago.
Awesome. Do you know who the Flash is?
Yes.
Do you know who Blue Beetle is?
No. Well, I do now that you told me.
Yeah. Do you know who Aquaman is?
Yes.
Do you know who the Creature Commandos are?
No.
Do you know who Waller is?
Yes.
Do you know Superman? Obviously.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Do you know Hal Jordan and John Stewart?
Half.
Which half?
Hal Jordan.
Okay. Do we know the Authority?
No.
We'll leave that. You know Themyscira, so that's fine.
Sure.
Do you know Booster Gold?
Now that you told me, yes.
Do you know much about Supergirl?
I've watched all the series. It's awful. I hate her.
That is a bad first introduction.
And
is it Melissa? Is it Melissa Benoit? Is that her name? She's nice.
I think
yeah.
No. Yeah, I don't like the outfit, and I just think that skirt can be so much better. Anyway, Joe Swamp Fingers.
Fuck yes.
Okay, so you know there about from the whole list there, you know about just over half. Do you know what I mean? You know, and that's for someone that's like trying to condense it to get people back involved. You know, just over half of the people, but even that, Shazam, Flash, and Aquaman, they're not part of the DCU that they're doing, so they're not really in it. It's not looking good for the casual fan.
Well, I mean, it's like if you said though when they started doing the Marvel universe, I knew nothing about comic books. I knew shit all about Iron Man. I knew shit all about Thor. Nothing about Captain America. Didn't know who Black Panther was. Didn't know who Black Widow or Hawkeye or any of those people were. Literally none of them. And then you get to know them through the film. So hopefully, if the films are good enough, if the DCU films and series are good enough, the only thing I hate it when the films and the series are combined, because now I have to watch everything to get up to. It's like that's when Marvel started doing that. Now, if you want to watch Captain America 4, you're going to have to have watched the Winter
Falcon and Winter Soldier
wanker.
Yeah, which changes its name in the last episode to Captain America Winter Soldier, which confuses the ever-loving crap out of people if you say that one correctly.
I haven't seen the whole series yet.
But you need to watch it to have if you want to get the gist of what the fuck's happening at the beginning of Doctor Strange, the latest one, you probably should have watched WandaVision.
Yeah.
Now, even though they're literally not connected, even though you wouldn't be like, I want to watch WandaVision so I can understand Doctor Strange, but you have to have really to have an idea of why she's there and why she's off a nut. But and I don't like it because you've got to buy Disney Plus for that shit, and Disney Plus is expensive.
Disney Plus is very expensive.
Thank you for
who
lets me
allows
use
you
the
to have 8 accounts, only 4 of them can watch at once.
Yeah. So
I've got Disney Plus, and I've also got something that's not kosher, shall we say, with everything like that on. But I still keep Disney Plus mainly for the kids and the quality. So if I'm going to watch Black Panther, I'm not going to watch it on the not kosher thing. I will watch it on on the 4K Dolby Vision, blah blah blah. But that's just how I am. But I totally agree. It's ridiculously expensive. It's stupidly expensive. And as Lee says, they've started to merge everything, and the quality has drastically gone down. And they've now have you heard the latest? They've sacked the director of the
Special
VFX
effects.
team. Yeah, the special effects team. They've sacked her, the poor lady. It's like, hang on, she can only do what she can do. If you're
In the
putting
time
that
frame you give
team,
her, yeah.
if you're putting that team thin and running them thin, you're going to get really rubbish special effects. And I know people point to that Thor floaty head man and and the Black Widow movie. Yeah, if they are garbage, but I've seen worse. I've seen a
It's not
lot
just
worse.
That, like, we all do little bits of video editing. To remove a background, to put a floating head in, to then put effects around that, to then have the camera cutting back and forth, inputting, outputting. That's a lot of work. Like, that floating head scene is probably 4 to 5 weeks of work for a single person. It's
And
a
they
lot
altered
of
it.
effort. Yeah.
They altered it as well from, I think it was from the cinema, wasn't it? Or from when it first launched. They redid it. They have changed the effect on it.
And it's just, there's only so much people can do in their job if they're not given the correct team size, the correct finances, and the correct amount of time to do it to the quality that we were used to from way back in phase 1. Which I miss that quality of movie. I would prefer fewer movies, fewer TV shows, better writing quality, better acting, directing, and After Effects quality than what we're getting currently, because it feels painful watching them. I don't like watching them because none of it's done right.
However, it could be worse. It could be the Snyder way of doing the visual effects, where he says he wanted them to move all jerky and sudden because that's how fast they are. I really didn't like that. I still don't like the Snyder VFX and the DCEU VFX. I think they're too fake.
I'm now going to go watch all of those movies now to try and notice it. Yeah,
go watch. The best way to do it is watch Superman in the IHOP scene, the Smallville scene, Man of Steel. Watch that. You'll see what I mean when is it Zora Ellen? Yeah, she moves. Watch when she moves.
Yeah. No, I'm with you now. I get it. Yeah,
it's like that. And
right.
Yeah.
We'll round it up here then. So thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been wonderful having you all along. We're sorry it's been so long between episodes. We will try and be better for this next one. Hopefully the world doesn't implode around us, and hopefully we all have time around shifts and such. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Have yourselves a fantastic day. We'll see you in the next one. Links for everybody in the description below. Take care.
Bye.